The most rewarding part of my practice is really helping clients and being able to change the way corporations act. I meet clients at their lowest point. They've either lost a loved one or suffered a serious medical condition or had an insurance claim denied. And I'm able, through the litigation process, to help them not only emotionally, but financially recover what they're entitled to and their just compensation for what they've gone through. And also changing the law. Through the litigation process, we're able to not only uncover bad corporate practices, but through the threat of a large verdict or an actual verdict, we're able to make corporations act appropriately and not only follow the law in our case, but follow the law going forward and for other consumers. One of my most memorable cases is a arbitration award that I achieved just in 2019. I met a family who had just had their son suffer a massive brain injury following treatment at a drug and alcohol rehabilitation facility. And I took the case to arbitration after a 3-year litigation process and achieved a $10.6 million arbitration award on his behalf. It was in a new area of law that I started handling in the drug and alcohol rehabilitation industry. This individual, Zachary Peterson, was in his early 20s. He went into this drug and alcohol facility, which was very expensive, to get better. And while he had suffered through some drug and alcohol addiction, he was looking to get better, and for 2 weeks he was getting better. Unfortunately, he suffered a broken foot playing basketball, and the facility was required to get him the medical attention he needed for his broken foot. Unfortunately, they didn't, and he began to be in terrible pain. And that's not a good thing for someone who is trying to recover from an addiction with drugs. About 2 weeks after his broken foot, the doctors at the facility called him a prescription for a lot of pain medicine. But unfortunately, again, they failed to act. The prescription sat at the pharmacy for 3 days. Zachary learned about it. He ended up leaving the facility, obtaining the prescription, returning back to the facility, and taking all of the pain medicine that night. The next morning, he suffered a massive seizure. He fell to the ground and suffered a traumatic brain injury that will impact him for the rest of his life. The big challenge was that during the brain surgery, the doctors found what may or may not have been what's called an arteriovenous malformation, which is really an abnormal cluster of blood vessels. And so the case for us began to be how to prove that this, what they call an AVM, was not the cause of his current condition, but that the fall really started the whole chain of events that led to Zachary's current condition. And it was incredibly rewarding for me to obtain this large verdict on his behalf and change his life forever and enable him and his family to get him the medical treatment that he deserves for the rest of his life.